Tonight's story is about a quiet woman, a forgotten surgery, and one envelope her family never expected to exist. My name is Natalie Brooks. I'm 32 years old. My parents missed my surgery and told me they had no choice. My sister needed them. The wedding was stressful. I was strong enough to understand. That was the story they told me. That was the story I almost believed. Until my aunt handed me an envelope and said, "Before you give them another $1, you need to see what they've been saying about you." I should probably tell you who I was in my family before I tell you what happened in that hospital room, because families do not betray you all at once. They practice, quietly, for years. In the Brooks family, there were 2 daughters. Ava was the one who needed saving. I was the one who knew how to save herself. Ava was 3 years younger than me, but somehow she stayed little forever in my parents' eyes. Even at 29, with a diamond ring on her finger, a wedding planner on speed dial, and a fiancé who looked permanently nervous around my mother, Ava was still treated like something delicate, something breakable, something everyone had to protect. My mother, Elaine Brooks, had a way of turning Ava's smallest inconvenience into a family emergency. Ava's overwhelmed. Ava's sensitive. Ava doesn't handle pressure the way you do. You know how your sister gets. That last sentence raised me. You know how your sister gets. It meant I should give up the front seat. It meant I should let her pick the restaurant. It meant I should not complain when my birthday dinner turned into a discussion about Ava's breakup. It meant that if something belonged to me, but Ava cried hard enough, my family suddenly called it sharing. My father, Paul Brooks, was quieter than my mother, which made people think he was more reasonable. He wasn't. He was just less loud about choosing sides. At church, he put his hand on my shoulder and called me my responsible girl. At home, he asked me to fix the Wi-Fi, check the electric bill, review his insurance paperwork, and explain emails he did not feel like reading. If Ava cried, Dad moved. If I cried, Dad looked uncomfortable. So I stopped crying in front of him when I was 11. I learned early that Ava's tears created action. Mine created silence. My mother used to tell people I was born old. She came out serious, she would say, laughing softly like it was charming. Natalie never gave us any trouble. Everyone smiled when she said that. No one ever asked what kind of child learns not to be trouble before she learns long division. I was the daughter who packed her own lunch, remembered permission slips, got scholarships, worked part-time, and never asked for gas money. Ava was the daughter who needed rides, extensions, second chances, gentle conversations, and emergency Target runs because she had nothing to wear to events she had known about for 6 weeks. When Ava forgot homework, Mom drove it to school. When I forgot my inhaler before a field trip in 4th grade, Mom said, "Natalie, you have to be more prepared." I was 9. When Ava got her license, my parents put balloons on her car. When I graduated from the University of Michigan with honors, my father texted me from the parking lot. "Traffic is terrible. We might miss the ceremony. Proud of you either way." They did miss it. Ava had needed Mom to help her choose an outfit for a music festival that weekend. Dad stayed home because Mom said she couldn't handle both girls needing her at once. I stood outside the auditorium in my cap and gown, watching families take pictures on the lawn. Mothers fixing tassels, fathers holding flowers, younger siblings rolling their eyes but smiling anyway. I remember feeling embarrassed before I felt sad, as if I had been caught expecting something I had no right to expect. My roommate Heather took my picture that day. She made me stand near a tree because she said the light was good. Then she bought me a cupcake from a bakery near campus, and stuck a plastic fork in it like a candle. "You're allowed to be proud," she said. I nodded. I wasn't sure I believed her. After college, I built the kind of life my parents praised because it required nothing from them. I became a healthcare operations consultant in Columbus. Mostly, I helped hospitals and outpatient clinics fix broken systems before patients got lost inside them. Scheduling delays, insurance bottlenecks, staffing gaps, discharge processes that made exhausted families wait 6 hours for one signature. I liked problems with names. I liked spreadsheets that admitted what they were hiding. I liked walking into a broken process, finding the weak point, and making it less cruel for the next person. By 28, I had a good salary, a small townhouse, a 10-year-old Honda Civic, and an emergency fund large enough that my mother called it impressive whenever Ava needed money. At 29, I started helping my parents financially. Not because they were poor. They weren't. They were careless. There is a difference. My father retired earlier than he should have because his back hurt and he was tired of corporate nonsense. My mother refused to downsize because the house held memories, though most of those memories seemed to require new furniture every few years. At first, the help was small. $400 for a property tax shortage, $600 when the furnace repair cost more than expected, $1,000 when Dad's truck needed work. I paid because I could. I paid because they asked nicely. I paid because being useful was the closest thing I had to being loved. Then there was Ava. Ava had always wanted a beautiful life. That was how my mother described it. Beautiful, not stable, not honest, not earned, beautiful. Ava worked as a social media coordinator for a boutique bridal company, which meant she spent her days surrounded by flowers, veils, mood boards, and women who believed stress was proof of importance. When she got engaged to Nathan Bell, my mother cried for 3 days. Nathan was fine, an accountant with good manners, a quiet voice, and the expression of a man who had already learned that disagreeing with Ava was usually not worth the recovery time. But Ava getting engaged gave my mother a new religion: the wedding. Capital T, capital W. The wedding had feelings. The wedding had needs. The wedding had a color palette. My mother started a binder before Ava had chosen a date. Ava wanted peonies even though they were out of season. Ava wanted a historic venue with stone arches and European energy. Ava wanted a live string quartet for the ceremony and a jazz trio for cocktail hour. Ava wanted handmade invitations with deckled edges. Ava wanted a dress appointment in Cincinnati because the boutique there carried a designer she followed online. Every want became a family concern. Every concern became my mother's crisis. Every crisis somehow found its way to me. "Natalie, could you look over this vendor contract?" "Natalie, does this cancellation clause seem aggressive?" "Natalie, your sister is panicking about the deposit schedule." "Natalie, you're so good at these things." That was how they got me. They never asked for too much at first. They admired my competence until I volunteered it. By January, I had reviewed the venue contract, corrected the florist invoice, built Ava a wedding budget spreadsheet, and paid for the engagement party catering when my mother's card randomly declined. The catering was $2,850. My mother promised to pay me back. She did not. I kept the receipt. Not because I planned to use it, because work had taught me something family never did. Records matter. In February, I found out I needed surgery. I had been having pain for months. Nothing dramatic, nothing anyone would make a movie about. Just a steady, grinding discomfort I kept explaining away as stress, posture, bad sleep, too much coffee, not enough stretching. Women like me are very good at minimizing pain. We are trained for it. When the doctor said I needed a procedure, I nodded like she had told me my oil change was overdue. "How soon?" I asked. "Soon," she said. That word stayed with me. Soon. Not someday, not when the wedding was over. Soon. The surgery was scheduled for March 14th, a Thursday morning. I told my mother 2 weeks before. She was in the middle of describing Ava's invitation samples. "Mom," I said, "I need to tell you something." "Can it wait 2 minutes?" Ava is between ivory and cream, which sounds insane, but under warm lighting, they really are different. It's about surgery. Silence. For one brief second, I felt something open inside me. A little door. A foolish, hopeful door. Then my mother said, "Surgery? What kind of surgery?" I explained, "Not everything. Just enough. A medical issue. A scheduled procedure. Not an emergency, but serious enough that I would need someone to drive me home and stay with me overnight." My mother made all the right sounds. "Oh, honey, why didn't you say something sooner? Of course we'll help. Your father and I will be there." I closed my eyes. I had not realized how badly I needed to hear it until she said it. Of course we'll help. For the next week, I let myself believe them. That was my mistake. Hope is not foolish. But in the wrong family, it becomes evidence against you. 3 days before surgery, my mother called. Her voice had that careful softness I knew too well. "Natalie, sweetheart." I was at my desk reviewing staffing numbers for a clinic in Toledo. What happened? Nothing happened exactly. I leaned back. "Mom, it's just Ava's dress appointment got moved." I looked at my computer screen. The numbers blurred slightly. To when? Thursday morning. My surgery is Thursday morning. I know, honey. I know. That's why I feel awful. I said nothing. She rushed in. The boutique had a cancellation, and this designer only sends samples twice a year. Ava has been dreaming about this dress since before she was even engaged, and if we don't go, she may not get another appointment until summer. My surgery is at 8:30. I know. I need someone there. Your father could maybe. In the background, I heard Ava's voice. "Mom, the appointment is at 10. We have to leave by 7:30. Then my father, farther away, said, "Elaine, we can't be in 2 places." My mother lowered her voice. "Natalie, your procedure is at the hospital. There will be nurses, doctors, people taking care of you." The little hopeful door inside me closed so quietly I almost missed it. "Ava will have boutique staff," I said. "That's not the same." "No," I said. "It isn't." My mother sighed. "Please don't make this a competition." There it was, the family's favorite trick. If I noticed the imbalance, I was competing. If I named the hurt, I was dramatic. If I asked to matter, I was selfish. I looked at the calendar on my desk. March 14th, surgery, 8:30 a.m. Ava dress fitting, 10 a.m. Apparently, the universe had a cruel sense of timing. "I'll ask Heather to take me," I said. My mother exhaled in relief. That sound told me everything. "Oh, honey, thank you. I knew you'd understand. You're just so strong about these things." Strong. The word landed like a hand on my throat. "Sure," I said. She heard permission because she wanted permission. "I'll call you the second we're done," she promised. She did not. Heather took me to the hospital. She arrived at 5:45 inches the morning, with coffee she knew I couldn't drink and a tote bag full of things I didn't ask for but needed anyway. a phone charger, lip balm, a soft blanket, a notebook, a ridiculous stuffed penguin wearing a nurse hat. For morale, she said. I laughed because Heather made it hard not to. At the hospital, she handled the parking ticket, the check-in desk, and the nurse who asked for my emergency contact. My mother, I started to say. Then I stopped. Heather looked at me. I said, Heather James. She did not react. She just gave the nurse her number. That is real love sometimes. Not speeches, not dramatic promises, just someone quietly letting you change the emergency contact without making you explain why. Before they took me back, I checked my phone. One message from my mother at 6:12 a.m. Praying for you, sweetheart. We love you. Be brave. Below it, in the family group chat, Ava had sent a photo of 3 white dresses hanging in a private fitting room. Caption, today might be the day. My mother replied with 6 crying emojis. My father wrote, our beautiful bride. I stared at the screen until Heather gently took the phone from my hand. Nope, she said. Not today. I wanted to say something graceful. Something like, it's fine. But my throat had gone tight. Heather squeezed my fingers. It's not fine, she said. The surgery itself is not the part of the story that matters. What matters is the moment after. The slow return of sound, the soft beeping, the dry mouth, the weight of a blanket, the ceiling tiles coming into focus one square at a time, and the chair beside my bed, empty. Not because Heather had left. She was in the hall arguing with a vending machine because it had taken her dollar and refused to release pretzels. But for 5 seconds, maybe 10, I woke up alone. And before logic returned, before memory organized the day, I thought, they didn't come. The thought was not surprising. That was the worst part. Heather came back and saw my face. She didn't ask. She just sat in the empty chair and stayed there. My mother called at 4:38 p.m. I remember because Heather had just helped me take 2 small sips of water, and my phone lit up on the tray. Mom. Heather looked at me. You don't have to answer. But I did. Hi, I said. Oh, honey, how are you feeling? Tired. I knew you'd do great. I waited. In the background, I heard laughter. Then Ava, Mom, ask her if she wants to see, my mother said. Ava found the dress. I closed my eyes. That's good. She looked like an angel, Natalie. I cried. Your father cried. Even the consultant cried. I looked down at the hospital bracelet on my wrist. White plastic, black letters, proof that I had been somewhere too. That's good, I said again. There was a pause. My mother's voice softened. You're not upset, are you? The question was a trap. If I said yes, I ruined Ava's day. If I said no, I erased mine. So I said nothing. My mother filled the silence. We'll come by tomorrow if you're feeling up to it. They did not come tomorrow. Ava had a meeting with the florist. They did not come Saturday. My father had promised to look at Nathan's car. They did not come Sunday. My mother said she thought I would want rest. Heather stayed the first night. My neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez, brought soup. My Aunt Margaret came on Sunday afternoon with banana bread wrapped in foil and a face so angry she looked 10 years younger. Aunt Margaret was my mother's younger sister. She was 61, widowed, and the only person in my family who asked questions and remembered the answers. She had missed the surgery itself because my mother had not told her until after. That was important. I did not know how important yet. She stood in my kitchen, holding a paper bag from the pharmacy, and said, "When exactly did Elaine tell you she wasn't going?" I shrugged. 3 days before, and she told me Friday night. I looked at her. What? After it was over, Aunt Margaret's jaw tightened. She said it was minor. She said Heather had it handled. She said you didn't want to fuss. I almost laughed. A minor surgery. A handled daughter. A fuss. That was my whole life in 3 phrases. I didn't say that. I said, I know. She placed the pharmacy bag on the counter. Then she looked around my townhouse. The folded blanket on the couch. The medication schedule Heather had taped to the fridge. The flowers from my coworker, already starting to open. Has your mother been here? No. Your father? No. Ava? I gave her a look. Aunt Margaret nodded once, slowly. Then she said something I didn't understand at the time. I'm going to start keeping things. What things? The things people say when they think the strong one won't ever need proof. I was too tired to ask what she meant. 2 weeks later, my mother called about money. It was a Tuesday evening. I was still moving slowly, still sore, still sleeping in broken pieces. My laptop was open on the couch because I had gone back to work too early, which everyone praised because people love when strong women remain convenient. My phone rang. Mom. I considered not answering. Then guilt, that old loyal dog, came back to my feet. I answered, Hi, Mom. Oh, honey, you sound tired. I am tired. Are you still having pain? Some. Well, don't overdo it. I almost said, you would know if you had come over. I didn't. She cleared her throat. So, I hate to even ask this while you're recovering. My body knew before my mind did. I sat up. What? It's Ava's venue. Of course it was. My mother continued quickly. There's been a misunderstanding with the payment schedule. The second deposit is due Friday, and if we miss it, they can release the date. How much? A pause. $18,000. I stared at the wall. My townhouse was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator. $18,000? It's not the full amount, just the deposit. Mom, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's her wedding venue, Natalie. She's already pictured the whole day there. I said nothing. My mother softened her voice. We would pay you back. When? As soon as your father's retirement account transfer clears. You said that about the engagement party catering. That was different. How? She sighed. I knew that sigh. It meant I was becoming difficult. Honey, please? Ava is in tears. Nathan's parents are being very traditional about what they will cover, and your father is stressed. And I just thought, you have always been the one we can count on. There it was. The compliment with teeth. The one we can count on. Not the one we visit. Not the one we protect. Not the one we sit beside in a hospital. The one we can count on. Mom, I said carefully, I just had surgery. I know that. You didn't come. Silence. Then, that's not fair. I laughed once. Softly. It surprised both of us. Not fair? We have apologized. No, you haven't. Natalie, don't start. Something inside me shifted. Not broke. Shifted. Like a shelf finally giving way under too much weight. I need to think about it, I said. My mother inhaled sharply. Friday is the deadline. I said I need to think about it. Well, don't take too long. Ava is already fragile. I looked down at the small bandage, still visible under my loose shirt. Ava is already fragile. I said goodnight and ended the call. 5 minutes later, Aunt Margaret called. I answered without saying hello. She called you, Margaret said. Yes. How much? $18,000. Aunt Margaret muttered something I will not repeat. Then she said, "Come over tomorrow. I'm working. After work. I'm tired. I know. Come anyway. Why?" There was a pause. Then she said, "Because before you give them another $1, you need to see what they've been saying about you." The next evening, I drove to Aunt Margaret's house. She lived 20 minutes away in a brick ranch with blue shutters and a porch full of plants she forgot to water but somehow never killed. The sky was low and gray. Early spring in Ohio has a way of making the whole world look undecided. Aunt Margaret opened the door before I knocked. She did not hug me immediately. She looked at my face first. Then she hugged me carefully, like she remembered my body was still healing. That almost undid me. Not the surgery, not the phone call, that being held with consideration. "Tea?" she asked. "Please." We sat at her kitchen table. Same yellow oak table from my childhood, scratched at the edges. I had eaten cereal there after sleepovers. Done homework there. Watched Aunt Margaret roll pie crust there while my mother called from the living room asking if she could take Ava shopping because Natalie is fine here. On the table was a manila envelope. Thick. My name written on the front in Aunt Margaret's blocky handwriting. Natalie. I stared at it. What is that? Things I should have shown you sooner. She pushed it toward me. I did not open it right away. Aunt Margaret folded her hands. "I need to tell you something. Your mother has been explaining you to people for years." "What does that mean?" "It means every time she asks you for money, she tells herself a story first. Then, she tells everyone else the same story so they don't question it." I swallowed. "What story?" Aunt Margaret looked tired. "That you don't need much. That you like being independent. That helping makes you feel included. That you're not emotional like Ava. That money is easier for you than love." The kitchen blurred slightly. I looked down at the envelope. Aunt Margaret's voice softened. "I believed some of it once. Not because I thought poorly of you. Because your mother says things with such certainty. But then I started watching. Really watching." She tapped the envelope. "Open it." Inside were printed screenshots, emails, text messages, bank transfer receipts, a handwritten list. The first screenshot was from a group text I was not part of. Mom, Dad, Aunt Margaret, Aunt Lynn, Ava. My mother had written, 3 days before my surgery, Natalie's procedure is Thursday. We were going to go, but Ava's dress appointment got moved, and she is spiraling. Natalie says Heather can take her. Thank God Natalie is practical. She doesn't need us hovering. My stomach tightened. I had never said that. Below it, my father had written, Nat's tough. She'll be fine. Ava had written, I feel awful, but this dress is literally only available Thursday. Nat probably doesn't care about that stuff anyway. My mother had replied, exactly. She's not like you. She doesn't attach emotion to things the same way. I set the paper down. My hand was shaking. Aunt Margaret reached across the table but did not touch me. There are moments when comfort must wait behind witness. I picked up the next page. Another group text. The day of my surgery. My mother had sent a photo of Ava in a wedding dress. My father had written, worth the drive. Ava had written, Mom cried so hard, LOL. Aunt Lynn had asked, how is Natalie? My mother had replied, Heather said she's okay. Natalie prefers low drama. We'll check on her tomorrow. Aunt Margaret had replied, did Natalie say that? No response. The next page was from the week after surgery. My mother had written, I think we may need to ask Nat about the venue deposit. She has savings, and she's always said family matters. Ava had replied, would she be mad after the surgery thing? My mother had written, She might act hurt at first, but Natalie likes being useful. It gives her a role. I stopped reading. There are sentences that do not stab. They excavate. They dig down through years of confusion and pull up the thing you have been trying not to know. Natalie likes being useful. It gives her a role. I pressed my palm flat on the table. Aunt Margaret said quietly, "Breathe." I did. Once. Twice. The next page was not a text. It was a list in Aunt Margaret's handwriting. Money Natalie has paid. Engagement party catering, $2,850. Dad's truck repair, $1,200. Property tax shortage, $1,950. Mom dental bill, $730. Ava apartment deposit, $2,400. Ava credit card emergency, $2,021 $3,100. Parents furnace repair, $680. Ava bridal consultation fee, $500. Florist contract review, unpaid labor. Venue contract review, unpaid labor. Invitation vendor dispute, unpaid labor. At the bottom, in darker ink, she had written, "Surgery attendance from immediate family 0. I stared at that 0 until it became the only thing on the page. Aunt Margaret said, "I started with memory. Then I asked you casually for dates. Then I checked what your mother had told me. Then I started printing." Why? Because one day they were going to make you feel crazy. I looked up. They already did. I know. I did not cry then. I wish I could tell you I did. Crying would have made sense. It would have matched the moment. Instead, I felt cold, not numb, clear. Like every excuse my family had ever made had been wiped off a window, and behind it was a view I could no longer pretend not to see. Aunt Margaret slid one more item across the table, a small white envelope. "What's this?" "Your mother gave it to me by accident." I opened it. Inside was a printed invoice from the wedding venue. Second deposit, $18,000. Due date, March 29th. Client, Ava Brooks and Nathan Bell. Across the bottom, in my mother's handwriting, was a note. "Ask Natalie. She can cover this from emergency fund. Do not mention dress appointment." I read that line 3 times. Do not mention dress appointment. Not because they were ashamed, because they knew. That was the part that changed everything. It would have hurt if they had forgotten my surgery. It hurt worse to know they remembered and built a strategy around it. Aunt Margaret said, "I'm sorry." I looked at her. For what? For not saying something sooner. For letting your mother define you as the one who could handle anything. For every Thanksgiving, I watched you clear dishes while Ava held court and thought, Natalie is so capable, instead of asking why the capable one was always carrying plates. That was when my eyes burned. Not because of my mother, because someone else had finally named it. "I don't know what to do," I said. "Yes, you do." I laughed weakly. "I really don't." Aunt Margaret leaned back. "Then I'll tell you what not to do. Do not send the money tonight. Do not argue on the phone. Do not give your mother the chance to turn your tone into the issue. And do not walk into that rehearsal dinner empty-handed." I looked at her. "What rehearsal dinner?" Aunt Margaret raised an eyebrow. "Natalie, your sister's wedding is in 6 weeks. You think your mother is going to let this go quietly?" She was right. Of course, she was right. My mother called the next morning, then again at lunch, then at 4:15. Then Ava texted, "Hey Nat, Mom said you're thinking about the venue. I know it's a lot, but it would mean everything. I promise we'll pay you back after gifts come in." After gifts come in. As if wedding guests were an investment strategy. I did not answer. That evening, My father called. I almost didn't pick up, but something in me wanted to hear what he would say when my mother was not the voice in front. "Hey, kiddo," he said. Kiddo. I was 32 and still reduced to a manageable size when he needed something. "Hi, Dad." "Your mom says you're upset." I'm thinking, well, don't think yourself into a corner. "What does that mean?" He sighed. "It means your sister only gets married once." "I only had surgery once last Thursday." Silence. "Then that's not the same." "No," I said. "It isn't." He sounded tired. "Natalie, we couldn't be everywhere. You could have been at the hospital. Ava needed support too, trying on a dress. It was more than that." "Was it?" He did not answer. Then his voice hardened slightly. "You know, your mother and I have always been proud of how independent you are, but sometimes you use that independence like a wall." I almost smiled. There it was. I was so strong they could abandon me. But if I noticed, my strength became a flaw. "What do you want, Dad?" He exhaled. "I want you to help your sister if you can. And if I don't, then I think you'll regret letting money damage this family." Money. Not absence, not lies, not the hospital chair, money. I said, "I'll let you know." Then I hung up. Over the next 3 weeks, my family performed concern-like community theater. My mother sent soup through DoorDash and texted, "See, we are taking care of you." Ava sent photos of bridesmaid dresses and wrote, "Trying to include you so you don't feel left out." My father mailed a get well card signed by all 3 of them. The card arrived 23 days after surgery. Inside, my mother had written, "We love you more than you know." Family shows up in different ways. I placed it in Aunt Margaret's envelope, not because it proved anything legal, because it proved something emotional. Family shows up in different ways. Yes, mine showed up with invoices. At work, I moved through my days carefully. I took calls, built reports, led meetings, smiled when colleagues asked how I was recovering. "Getting there," I said. That was true. I was getting somewhere. I just did not know if they would recognize me when I arrived. Heather knew. She came over every Thursday with groceries and no advice unless I asked for it. One night, she sat on my kitchen floor while I organized the envelope into sections. "Hospital," I said, labeling a tab. "Money transfers, wedding requests, family messages, promises to repay." Heather watched me for a while. Then she said, "This is either very healthy or very terrifying." "Both." "Good." I looked up. "You think I'm doing the right thing?" "I think you're doing the documented thing. That's usually safer." I laughed. Then I told her about the rehearsal dinner. Ava's wedding planner had emailed the schedule to everyone in the bridal party. I was technically a bridesmaid, though Ava had forgotten to include me in the dress appointment and later told me she assumed I'd prefer to order online. The rehearsal dinner would be held at the same venue they wanted me to help pay for. Of course, my mother still expected me to attend. She also expected me to pay, because in my family, emotional discomfort was never a reason to cancel a financial expectation. 2 weeks before the wedding, my mother showed up at my townhouse. No warning. I opened the door and found her standing there holding a garment bag. "Hi, sweetheart," she said brightly, as if surprise visits were normal between us. "What are you doing here?" "I brought your bridesmaid dress. Ava had it steamed." I looked at the garment bag. That could have been mailed. "Well, I wanted to see you." No, she didn't. She wanted to look at me while asking. I stepped aside. She entered my living room and glanced around with the faint disapproval she always tried to hide. My townhouse was clean but not decorative enough for her. I owned furniture for function, not compliments. She hung the garment bag over a chair. You look better. I'm recovering. That's good. She sat on the couch. I stayed standing. She folded her hands. Natalie, we need to talk about the venue. No, we don't. Her face tightened. Honey, I'm not paying the deposit. The sentence surprised me by leaving whole, clean, no apology attached. My mother stared. What? I'm not paying Ava's venue deposit. Her mouth opened slightly. Then she laughed once. Not because it was funny, because she thought she had misheard reality. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not. Natalie, your sister is counting on you. That was her mistake. My mother's eyes sharpened. This is because of the surgery. This is because of a lot of things. We said we were sorry. No. You said I was strong. Her expression shifted. A flash of irritation. The real mother beneath the soft one. You are strong. Is that an insult now? It is when you use it as an excuse not to show up. She stood. You have no idea what it was like that day. Ava was sobbing. The boutique had this one opening. Your father was overwhelmed. I was trying to keep everyone from falling apart. I was in a hospital. You had Heather. Ava had both parents. She needed us. I needed you. The room went quiet. My mother looked away first. That told me more than an argument would have. She could not say I was wrong, so she changed the subject. You have always resented Ava. I nodded slowly. There it was, the emergency exit. When truth corners my mother, she runs through accusation. No, I said. I resented being asked to disappear so she could take up more room. My mother grabbed her purse. You're being cruel. I'm being clear. She's your sister. I was your daughter. The words landed before I knew I had thrown them. My mother froze. For 1 second, something like pain crossed her face. Then pride covered it. You'll regret this. Maybe. She may lose the venue. Then she'll have a marriage without stone arches. My mother stared at me as if I had slapped her. Then she walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned back. Family remembers who shows up for them, Natalie. I looked at the garment bag on the chair, then back at her. Yes, I said, I'm starting to. She left. I took the bridesmaid dress out after she was gone. Pale rose satin. Beautiful, if you like dresses that make grown women look like expensive curtains. There was a note pinned to the hanger in Ava's handwriting. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. I added it to the envelope. The venue did not get paid by me. Apparently, Nathan's parents covered the deposit after a very emotional conversation with my mother. My mother told everyone this version. Natalie backed out last minute. She did not say I never agreed. Ava called me crying 6 days before the wedding. I let it go to voicemail. Then I listened. Nat, I don't know why you're doing this. I know mom and dad messed up with your surgery, but you know how crazy wedding planning is. I just feel like you're punishing me for needing them. And now Nathan's parents think my family can't handle things, and it's humiliating. She sniffled. I always looked up to you. I know maybe it didn't seem like it, but I did. You're so together. You don't know what it's like to need people. I just want my sister at my wedding. Please don't ruin this. I saved the voicemail, not because I hated her, because she still thought my pain was an obstacle to her day. Now, I need to pause here for a second. If you have ever been called strong when what you really needed was support, stay with me. Because what happened at that rehearsal dinner was not loud revenge. It was not a screaming match. It was not a dramatic scene with broken glasses and slammed doors. It was one envelope, one table, and the first time my family heard my silence speak back. The rehearsal dinner was on a Friday evening in late April. By then, I could move normally if I was careful. The doctor had cleared me for light activity, which I decided included attending a family event where everyone would pretend not to be angry until dessert. Aunt Margaret offered to come with me. "She didn't invite you," I said. She invited me through Facebook by posting the event publicly, like a woman who doesn't understand privacy settings. I almost laughed. "You don't have to." "I know." "Then why?" She looked at me over her glasses. "Because last time you were in a hard room, your chair was empty. This time, it won't be. So we went together." The venue is called the Ashford Hall, old brick, tall windows, stone courtyard. The kind of place that photographs beautifully and charges extra for basic chairs. Ava had chosen ivory table linens, gold-rimmed plates, and centerpieces tall enough to block conversation. At the entrance, a welcome sign read, "Ava and Nathan forever begins here." I stood in front of it for a moment. Forever is a brave word for people who can't make it through a deposit schedule honestly. Aunt Margaret touched my elbow. "Ready?" "No." "Good. Means you're sane." Inside, the private dining room glowed with soft light. Nathan's parents were already there, speaking quietly with my father. Ava stood near the fireplace in a white cocktail dress, looking delicate and wounded, which I suspected was intentional. My mother saw me first. Her smile appeared like a curtain dropping. "Natalie," she said, "you came. You invited me." Ava turned. For a second, she looked relieved. Then she saw Aunt Margaret behind me. Her expression changed. "Aunt Margaret." "Hi." "Hello, Ava." My mother stiffened. "Margaret, I didn't realize you were coming." Aunt Margaret smiled. "I know." We sat near the middle of the table, not the end. I did that on purpose. For the first 30 minutes, everyone behaved. Nathan's father gave a toast about commitment. My father spoke about marriage being built on patience. I nearly choked on my water. Ava thanked everyone for supporting her dream. My mother cried. I folded my napkin in my lap and listened. Then the conversation turned. It always does in families like mine. Not directly at first. A cousin asked about the planning stress. Ava said it had been a lot. My mother put a hand over hers, especially with some last-minute financial surprises. I kept my eyes on my plate. Aunt Margaret's fork stopped moving. Nathan's mother looked uncomfortable. "Oh?" she said politely. My mother sighed. "Well, weddings reveal who really shows up for you." There it was. I felt the room begin to tilt toward me. My father said, "Elaine," but weakly, the way he always did when he wanted credit for objecting without the burden of stopping her. My mother continued. "We had hoped for a little more family support in certain areas, but we managed." Ava looked down. Nathan glanced at me, then away. I placed my fork on the table. Aunt Margaret leaned back. My mother dabbed her eyes with the corner of her napkin. It's just hard when you raise children to be close, and then money changes people. I looked up. Money changed people? The table went quiet. My mother's eyes met mine. She had not expected me to answer. That was the thing about a lifetime of silence. People mistake it for a contract. "Natalie," she said softly, "not tonight." I almost smiled. "Then why did you bring it up tonight?" Ava whispered, "Please don't." I looked at her. "What do you think I'm about to do?" Her eyes filled. "I just want one peaceful weekend." "So did I said. "The weekend after surgery." The silence changed. Nathan's parents looked at each other. My father set down his glass. My mother's voice sharpened. "We are not doing this here. You started it here. I did not name you. You didn't have to." Ava's voice trembled. "Nat, I know you were hurt, but we all apologized." Aunt Margaret said quietly, "No, you didn't." My mother turned. "Margaret, stay out of this." No. One word, firm enough that even my father looked up. Aunt Margaret reached into her purse and pulled out the manila envelope. My mother's face changed. Small change, but I saw it. Fear recognizes paperwork. I placed my hand on the envelope. I didn't come here to ruin Ava's dinner. "Then don't," my mother snapped. "I came here because you've been telling people I refuse to support this wedding. You left out the part where I had just learned what my support had cost me." My father said, "Natalie, enough." I looked at him. "No, Dad. Enough was when I woke up alone." The room stilled. I opened the envelope. First page. The group text. My mother's message. "Natalie's procedure is Thursday." We were going to go, but Ava's dress appointment got moved and she is spiraling. Natalie says Heather can take her. Thank God Natalie is practical. She doesn't need us hovering. I did not read it dramatically. I read it like a meeting note. Clear, even, documented. My mother whispered, "Where did you get that?" Aunt Margaret said, "From the group chat you sent it to." I set the page down. "I never said I didn't need you." No one spoke. Second page. Day of surgery. Ava's dress photo. My father's Our Beautiful Bride. Aunt Lynn asking how I was. My mother saying I preferred low drama. I placed it beside the first. I never said that either. Ava was crying now. Quietly. For once, I did not feel responsible for it. Third page. The message about asking me for the venue money. She might act hurt at first, but Natalie likes being useful. It gives her a role. Nathan looked down at the page, then at Ava. Ava shook her head. "I didn't write that." "No," I said. "Mom did." My mother stood. "This is private." I looked at her. So was my surgery. That landed. My father looked at the table. Nathan's mother pressed a hand to her mouth. Aunt Margaret slid the handwritten list forward. Money Natalie has paid. I did not read every amount. I didn't need to. I read the first few. Engagement party catering, truck repair, property taxes, Ava's apartment deposit, Ava's credit card emergency. Then I read the last line. Surgery attendance from immediate family, 0. My mother sat down. Ava whispered, "Nat." I looked at her. "Did you know?" She cried harder. That was answer enough. "Did you know Mom planned not to mention the dress appointment when asking me for the money?" My mother said, "That is not fair." I pulled out the venue invoice, the handwritten note at the bottom. "Ask Natalie. She can cover this from emergency fund. Do not mention dress appointment." I placed it in the center of the table. My father stared at my mother's handwriting. Ava stared too. Nathan picked up the invoice, read it, and set it down very carefully. "Elaine," he said, and his voice was different now. "You asked Natalie to pay after skipping her surgery for a dress appointment?" My mother said, "It wasn't just a dress appointment." Aunt Margaret said, "What was it then?" No answer. Because there wasn't one. Not one that could survive the room. My mother looked at me with wet eyes and anger underneath. "You saved all this to punish us." "No," I said. "I saved all this because you taught me that if I don't bring proof, you'll rewrite pain into attitude." My father rubbed his forehead. "Natalie," I turned to him. "Did you know she wrote that note?" "No." "Did you know she planned to hide the dress appointment?" He hesitated. A small hesitation, but enough. I nodded. You knew enough. His face folded in on itself. For the first time that night, Ava spoke without crying. I didn't ask them to miss your surgery. I looked at her. No, but you let them. Her mouth opened, closed. I continued. You let them choose you. Every time. And maybe when we were kids, that wasn't your fault. But you're 29 now, Ava. At some point, being the favorite becomes a responsibility too. She looked away. I thought that would be the line. I thought that would be the thing I remembered, but it wasn't. The line I remember came after my mother said, "You're acting like we abandoned you. You had Heather." I looked at my mother for a long time, at the woman who had taught me to carry my own pain quietly, then resented me for finally setting it down where others could see. And I said, "You called me strong so you wouldn't have to show up." No one moved. That was the line. Not loud, not clever, just true. My mother's face changed. For once, she had no prepared sentence. I gathered the papers slowly. Aunt Margaret touched my wrist. "You don't have to clean up their table," she said. So I stopped. I left the documents where they were. Then I stood. "I hope tomorrow is beautiful," I said to Ava, and I meant it. That surprised me. I hope the flowers are perfect. I hope the dress looks exactly the way you imagined. I hope Nathan is kind to you for the rest of your life. Ava sobbed once. But I am done paying to be included in a family that could not sit beside me for one morning. My father whispered, "Nat." I looked at him. "I love you," he said. Maybe he meant it. Maybe he had always meant it in the small, passive way men like him mean things they never practice. I said, "I know, but love that doesn't move eventually becomes a word." Then I walked out. Aunt Margaret walked beside me. No one stopped us. Outside, the air was cool and smelled like wet stone. I made it to the parking lot before my knees started shaking. Aunt Margaret put one arm around my shoulders. Carefully, always carefully now. "You did good," she said. "I feel awful. That doesn't mean you did wrong." I looked back at the glowing windows of Ashford Hall. Through the glass, I could see people moving inside, bending over the papers, touching the evidence as if it might burn them. For years, I had been afraid of causing a scene. I had not understood that my silence had been part of the scenery. Ava got married the next day. I did not stand as a bridesmaid. I did not wear the rose satin dress. I sat in the back row beside Aunt Margaret and Heather. Yes, I went. Not for my parents, not even for Ava. For myself. Because I wanted to prove I could witness a family event without offering myself as payment. The ceremony was lovely. The flowers were excessive. The string quartet played softly. Ava looked beautiful. When she walked down the aisle, her eyes found mine for half a second. I nodded once. She started crying before she reached Nathan. Maybe people thought it was bridal emotion. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. My mother did not look at me. My father did. During the reception, he approached while I was standing near the terrace doors. He held 2 glasses of water and offered me one. I took it. For a while, we stood quietly. Then he said, "I should have been there." I looked at him. "Yes?" He swallowed. "No excuse." "No." He nodded. "I don't know how to fix that." "You can't." His eyes reddened. "I know." That was the first honest thing he had said in years. I let it stand. My mother did not apologize that day, or the next week, or the week after. Instead, she sent a long email with the subject line, "My heart." It was 4 paragraphs about how difficult motherhood is, how different children need different things, how she never meant to hurt me. and how she hoped I would one day understand the impossible position she had been in. I read it twice. Then I replied, "Mom, I understand that Ava needed you. I needed you too. The difference is that only one of us was allowed to. Natalie, she did not respond for 11 days. Ava did. 3 weeks after the wedding, a letter arrived in the mail. Handwritten, no return address, but I knew her loops on the capital N. I opened it at my kitchen table with Heather on speakerphone, because healing does not require you to be brave every second." Ava's letter was 5 pages. The first page was defensive. The second page was confused. The third page got quieter. By the fourth, she wrote, "I think I liked being the one they chose because I was afraid if they stopped choosing me, there would be nothing left of me." I read that line 3 times. On the 5th page, she wrote, "I am sorry I let your absence at the dress appointment matter less than my reflection in the mirror." That was the first apology from my sister that did not ask me to comfort her afterward. I placed the letter in a drawer, not the envelope, a different drawer, one for things I might want to return to when I was ready. My father started therapy in June. Aunt Margaret told me before he did because she is not good at secrets when they involve progress. He called me a month later. "I'm seeing someone," he said. "Like dating?" He coughed. "A therapist, Natalie." "I know. I just wanted to make you uncomfortable." He laughed. A small laugh. Embarrassed. Human. I deserved that. "Yes?" He asked if we could have coffee. I said not yet. He said, "Okay." That mattered. He did not push. For once, someone in my family let my no remain a full sentence. My mother took longer. Maybe she still is taking longer. Some people are so attached to the role they played in the family that your healing feels like an accusation. In August, she mailed me a check, $2,850, the engagement party catering. In the memo line, she wrote, "Repayment, no note." I deposited it. 2 weeks later, another check, $1,200. Truck repair, then $730. Dental bill, then $500. Bridal consultation fee. The checks arrived slowly, like pride being mailed in installments. I deposited each one, not because money fixes neglect. It doesn't. But repayment is a language. And for once, my mother was speaking in something other than excuses. By October, I had stopped being the emergency fund. That was what changed most. Not the family dinners, not the phone calls, the requests. They stopped coming. At first, the silence felt like punishment. Then it felt like space. Then it felt like peace. I started using my emergency fund for myself. A wild concept. I took a week off work and went to Maine with Heather. We rented a small cottage near the water. I slept 9 hours the first night and woke up disoriented because no one needed me. We ate blueberry pancakes at a diner with cracked vinyl booths. We walked along cold beaches. We bought books from a shop run by a woman who wore fingerless gloves indoors. One morning, I sat on the porch with coffee and realized I had gone 4 full days without checking whether my mother had called. She had not. I was okay. Better than okay. When I came home, there was a voicemail from Ava. I waited until evening to listen. "Hi, Nat. It's me. I just wanted to say, Nathan and I are starting counseling. Not because something is wrong exactly, because I think I don't know how to ask for love without turning it into proof. And I think that's probably not great for a marriage." A pause. "I'm not asking you to call me back. I just wanted you to know I'm trying to become someone who would have gone to the hospital." I sat very still. Then I saved the voicemail. Not as proof, as possibility. There is a difference. It has been 1 year since the surgery. I am 33 now. My scar has faded to a thin, pale line I barely notice unless the light catches it. My townhouse is still small. The refrigerator still hums too loudly. The front step still needs repainting. I still drive the same Honda because it refuses to die and I respect commitment. But the house feels different now. Not because anything inside changed, because I did. The manila envelope is in a box at the top of my closet. I don't look at it often. I don't need to. The facts did their job. Aunt Margaret still comes over on Sundays sometimes. She brings banana bread and pretends it is not because she is checking on me. Heather still sends me penguin memes whenever I have a doctor appointment. My father and I had coffee in December. He apologized without using the word but. That was new. He said, "I liked calling you strong because it made me feel less guilty for leaning on you." I cried then, "Not much, just enough." He did not look away. That was new too. My mother and I are not fixed. I don't know if we will be. She still speaks carefully around me, like I am a glass she remembers dropping. But last month, she called and said, "I have been thinking about the hospital." I waited. She said, "I should have been in that chair." No explanation, no wedding, no Ava, no defense. Just that. I looked across my kitchen at the empty chair by the window. "Yes," I said, "you should have." She cried. I let her. I did not rescue her from the sound. That might be the hardest boundary I have ever kept. Ava is still married. She and Nathan had a small dinner for their anniversary. She invited me. I said no, but I sent a card. Not money, a card. Inside, I wrote, "I hope you are building something honest." She texted me a photo of it on their fridge. No hearts, no drama, just thank you. That was enough for now. Sometimes people ask if they hear pieces of the story whether I regret exposing everything at the rehearsal dinner. The answer is no. I regret needing to. I regret every year that taught my family I would rather swallow pain than disturb the table. I regret every time I accepted the word strong when what they really meant was alone. But I do not regret opening that envelope. I do not regret reading the messages. I do not regret leaving the papers on that table under the soft golden lights of the venue they thought I should pay for. Because that night was not revenge. It was correction. For years, my family told a story about me. Natalie doesn't mind. Natalie understands. Natalie is practical. Natalie likes being useful. Natalie doesn't need us hovering. Natalie will cover it. Natalie always does. At the rehearsal dinner, I finally told the truth. Natalie minded. Natalie hurt. Natalie noticed. Natalie kept the receipts. And Natalie was done.